Okay, everyone, we're about 2 minutes away. We'll give everybody a couple minutes to join, and then we'll get started.
Sounds good.
Okay, I see people getting on. We will start in just a minute. All righty, everyone. Good afternoon. I want to welcome everyone to the latest of our fireside chats in our series of webinars that we've been holding over the last couple of weeks. We're very happy to continue bringing experts in various fields in these tough times with different information to all of you and to help everybody through these challenging times that we're all experiencing. I'm Frank Niesenbaum, VP of Sales for E2B Tech and C2B Tech, and I'll be your host today. I'm very happy to be joined by Valeria Miller and Danny Martinez, who are with our partner, Sage Software, and they specifically work in the HRMS area, so have a lot of valuable information. They'll be helping us understand today how we can soften the impact of a remote workforce and employee turnover, and just offering some insight into the whole workforce category of operations and that type of thing. So our goal is to provide as much information as we can to help you and your business navigate through these tough times and uncertain times and come out on the other side stronger than ever, which we're all confident we will. So I have the fireplace behind me. These guys are in warmer climates, so they don't need them today. It's chilly here in Ohio, so I'm glad to have that fireplace. But in any event, we know everybody's working differently. Obviously, we're all working, a lot of people working from home. But there's a bit of hope now. We think we're even more confident that, you know, our community spirit and cooperation will get us through this and back on a strong and vibrant path with some of the positive going on now. So again, welcome, Danny and Valeria. How are you?
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Today's chat, we're going to, as I mentioned, we're going to be talking about remote workforces and employee turnover and some of the things that are affecting everybody's business. Before we start, I just have a couple of poll questions I'd like to get the answers to if I can. The first one, just to give us a sense of the audience, you know, are you open for business? You know, yes or no? Are you operating fully? Yes, but with some modification, or no, you're planning for reopening, not working yet, or no, not at all. Maybe you've really suffered. So just an idea, that'll help us. Give you a minute or two.
Good questions. I like it.
Yeah, it's interesting, the results we get. So
Yes, I'm curious.
it looks like most are either open or some modification. That's good. Okay. I think we have everybody there. Okay, so the second question, if you could for us, you'll see on the screen. So in terms of workforce, maybe give us a sense, you know, you're closed and no one's working, maybe both, you're working but both in office and remote, open but remote only, Or no, you're still working the same as you were pre-pandemic. Maybe everybody is in the office or a plant or somewhere like that. Just an idea. Okay, just a couple more seconds. Well, there's good news in what we see there. So everybody's working. How they're working may be a little different, but it's good to see people are working. So I appreciate that. So thank you everybody for answering the questions. So now, Danny and Valeria, I'm going to put you on the spot. We're gonna pick your brains a little bit. The first question I have is it's interesting. Obviously, these times are changing for everyone. I'm curious as to your thoughts on how you guys might suggest keeping employees' spirits up during these tough times.
Sure, and I'll take that one. You can hear me okay, Frank? Everything?
Yep, everything's good.
Perfect, perfect. So, from what I've been hearing from customers and what I've been discovering is a lot of these employers are kind of they're laying it out up front. So what they're doing is they're establishing ground rules right up front. Honestly, what that's doing is that's promoting that work-life balance. So I want to say, going back to kind of like that business preparedness, some employers were ready for this, some were not, but a lot of them have a contingency plan up front where they already have these established ground rules. A lot of them are doing, I don't want to say daily, but maybe weekly manager check-ins, maybe every other day. I've seen some managers, even here at Sage, some of my managers and other, managers within organizations, they're having check-ins. They're doing, they're chatting with their employees and chatting about positive things, kind of listening to their employees and, just kind of to boost that work ethic. And also, too, they're creating that flexibility, especially with childcare. Valeria on this call, she works from home, and right now her two kids are home. Her two daughters.
Visitors.
Yeah, she's got her two kids, so you've got to kind of create that sense of flexibility, and make sure that there's time for everything that's going on right now at home. I mean, I got my little coworker crawling under my desk right now. My dog, he's actually rolling around on my carpet over here, and it's honestly, if I know we weren't prepared for this, but as an employer, what I would recommend is kind of, again, establishing those ground rules. Once we went to this work from home platform, this environment, we just gotta, kind of lay those ground rules, almost like being a parent, not a pushy parent, but kind of, hey, this is how it's going to be for this time, and just letting them know this is how it's going to be, and this is what I expect from you, kind of creating that expectation.
Yeah, that's great advice.
Yeah. And I was going to maybe add, we're also seeing companies, implement more tools for their emotional health or like stress relief kind of tools.
Yeah.
I think here at Sage, last Friday, they sent us an email about Headspace is the name of the app.
I've
It's
seen
free. We could just all set it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and some people were using it before. I downloaded. I haven't got to the 10-minute meditation, but just the idea that it's like, oh, I have other tools, or I was remote employee before this new environment, right? But give them tools to the employees, because now we're like 3 weeks in some cases, like what can we make their work environment from home better? Like ergonomics, like my husband loved his stand-up desk. I have my medicine ball. It's in the basement, but I should bring it up eventually. And, switch, because when you're at home, it's hard sometimes to disconnect. So it's good to think of also, okay, even though we're working and we're 24/7 always connected, what can we do to make a break, take a walk, go outside, because it's hard. you lose track of time sometimes when you're working from home.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and that's all great advice. I know that, kind of picking up on what Danny said, we have internal meetings every day, short meetings by teams, and you and video chat and just keeping up with each other. And I think all those things you're talking about emotionally and support wise is awesome. And it's good to see Sage doing it too. And I know other companies are. That's great advice. Danny, you mentioned contingency plans. I know that obviously this hit us all kind of by a surprise. We've talked about in a couple of our webinars, should small businesses have some kind of plan? I mean, obviously for something in the future, something similar, thinking ahead.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I could, I was going to say, Danny, yeah, I think as we were preparing through some of these questions, obviously I think we could all agree in this room that having a contingency plans, or having at least the idea of what we could do, it would have been better before we're in the middle of this crisis, right? So I think one of the things that we're seeing now, especially as we attend different webinars and getting, there's so much documentation and communications and ideas being shared, but try to think of this time of what can we do better? Because a lot of the consultants, what we're hearing in the media, this might be our new normal.
Right.
We might have other disasters. COVID might come back this spring, or we mentioned my little kids like in school, right? Like we might hopefully not never, but we might have flexible where we go to school for a period of time, but when it's winter time, it might be a little more flexible. So I think, like when we talk about contingency plans, making sure that we do have an ownership or somebody responsible, because it's great to come up with those ideas. Oh, what would we do if we close? Or what do we do for backups? And now that we're living the document, to make sure it's a living document that it can be changed. Maybe it will be different, 6 months from now than what it was 3 months ago. So we just have to be agile, flexible, and it's not set in stone. And communicate. I think going back to what Dave was saying, just keep communicating with your employees, because sometimes we have the best intentions, but we didn't share it with everybody else. And making sure we could ask for input from everybody, because like I have little kids and a dog. Oops, and somebody's at the door. Just asking for everybody's input, because we're all in different stages, and in some ways the whole world, we're all adjusting to this new reality.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. You talked about communication, and we've talked about that, gosh, in all of the webinars we've done. So, what are your suggestions, any thoughts about how we could communicate better with these remote people, especially the remote people? Ideas around things we can be doing to make that better.
So, and this is a great example. So here at Sage, and this is pretty much across the board, and I actually do it with a lot of my friends and family members. But here at Sage, we have this nice thing in place that we call kind of like the water cooler, the daily water cooler breaks. So every day at like 10 o'clock and right before the day ends at 4 p.m., we kind of meet for like 30 minutes. And honestly, it's really to talk about anything. In the morning, we're having our coffee. We're talking about maybe the reports on the news from last night, maybe just to get things off our chest, maybe to show pictures, just to kind of keep that feeling and that sense of sanity. Hey, I still work for this company, even though I'm working from home. And the idea of having a group of, even if 5, 10, 15, even, I mean, some of these calls have 30 people on it, it kind of puts me in a good place that I know that, hey, I'm not the only one that's going through this. We're all going through this. So, it makes me feel good, even though I know what's going on the outside, but at least everybody's on the same page. And honestly, the Friday water coolers, we kind of get things off our chest, which prepares us for the next week. And honestly, everybody's on the same page across the board. So, but yeah, I definitely promote, like a Zoom water cooler break or Microsoft Teams. Doesn't have to be every day. We do it every day because we're a big group, but maybe every other day. I've even seen people text messaging. I've seen people on Facebook. People are really using technology now. It's so funny that we, as human beings, we all know how social media is. But in a time like this, it's amazing how this social media is working to our advantage, and all these tools. So
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Technology is key. We agree.
yes, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that's awesome. And so kind of drilling into the employees a little bit, in terms of, how employees can access company info, your thoughts around a portal, whether it's SharePoint or it's in an HR system, some thoughts about ways maybe companies can look at to make access to company info or the data or the information they need to work better every day during these times. Any thoughts there?
Sure. Yeah, Frank, in a perfect world, we all know that, large organizations, they have either a company intranet or they have some kind of self-service or a SharePoint. What I would recommend, and this is another piece of that business continuity and preparedness. A lot of people are thinking about this right now. Oh my God, what are we going to do? How am I going to communicate with my employees? How do we let them access stuff? This is the time that if you don't have something in place, this is the ideal time to take that and run with it. The ideal time to start preparing for that self-service or that portal, or maybe putting something in place. Here at Sage, of course, we are software developers. We do have a wonderful employee self-service module, but internally, we're prepared because, we do have remote employees. We don't go into an office, but we can always access our company database, whether it's get HR forms, communicate with managers, who's requesting time off. But honestly, I would still request time off at this time because maybe I work from home and I don't want to work on this day. But this is, Frank, this is the ideal time that, as small or medium or large employers, if you don't have something in place, let's mark this as important right now, because yes, we're in a test period right now. We don't know how long that this COVID is going to be around or how long we're going to be in this WFH, the work from home platform.
Right.
This is the time to really think about it and start planning, get action items to get something in place. Who knows? It's happening now. We don't know what's going to happen 2 months from now. We don't know what's going to happen 5 years from now. So definitely the time to think about it. This is another thing to put on that prepared business continuity list.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And kind of drilling into that a little bit, I know you guys work with a lot of obviously in the HR world and resources to do that, so we're talking about ways to manage the employee data that are working from home and how they report, but also tracking time. Obviously, a lot of consulting companies out there, a lot of things like that. And this, again, you said it, the WFH. I like that we created a new term here today, right? WFH, work from home. You guys have a lot of experience around that. Just maybe talk about some of the tools or some of the things that you guys, represent, but what we can do out there and part of this preparation and what we could get these kind of topics.
Sure. Listen, I still talk to companies that everything it's a manual process. I'm not here to say, hey, my God, you're in the old days, you're still operating on an old mindset. Listen, small businesses they're not prepared for this. Right. In a perfect world, guys, you would have a kind of a human resources system in place, maybe like a Sage HRMS or something where you can manage employee data or run real-time reports right from the comfort of your home. So,
yeah.
Now, I think
and just to add, and to add the kind of 2 cents, I think, Sage has like a timekeeping option, but like Danny was saying, we have a lot of customers still have a paper-based time card. Some customers are in an honor system when it comes to timekeeping, so that might work fine, being remote. But I think for those customers that were paper-based, that you had to require a signature from a supervisor, there was a lot of paper trails. I think going back to like, well, maybe not something that, you know, we might be able to implement a brand new system today, but there are tools like even Excel. You could go and, you know, type free templates or free time cards, and we could maybe at least take it from a paper base to Excel to share via email. So we have some audit trails.
Yeah.
And then as we have maybe a little break, right, to hopefully think about, okay, how are we going to move forward? What will be our new strategy? What are our goals for our company? And if we really need to track time better, then there are tools like the time and attendance, where there are tools like from my phone, I could clock in. I could say I spend 3 hours in this project or 3 hours working for a specific department or role. And then all of that automation and the web tools, we could have it going from checking on your phone to the supervisor approving through a portal to having all export into payroll. So, you know, I think something like, yeah, in an ideal world, but there's a lot of companies that are doing electronic timesheets and eliminating the paper, which I think going remote, I've increased my paper use. I'm pointing to my printer mostly because of the schoolwork for my kids, but pretty much everything I do for work is all electronic. So how can we optimize those systems? Yeah.
No, Frank, and just a comment, you know, everyone on this call and anybody who hears this or sees this call, let's not beat ourselves up about this. This is a test. This is a wake-up call.
Yeah.
You know, again, let's write these things down. These are action items. This is what makes us better in the world. This is what makes us better as organizations. So let's definitely take this to our advantage here, and definitely make this an action item. So don't worry if you're manual. Technology is there.
No, I think you both make a great point. I mean, and obviously we're in the technology business too. You know, we're a Sage partner. We represent software. You know, I think the cloud and having systems is a big thing that technology can do a lot for companies, especially around people. I mean, to me, it's all about communication. And I look at, you know, what you guys are talking about, and we talk about, you know, timekeeping and data and self-service and all that. So it's not that you have to do your own payroll either necessarily. A lot of this is all HR related, not human resources. I like the term. I mean, it's people. It's not payroll per se. Does that make sense to you guys in terms of how you see it too?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna set it better. You said it perfect.
I think that's how we look at it. So just again, now talking about people, and so these are, you know, challenging times. You got different people, remote workforce, people in the office. You know, is this a good time to maybe look at the strategy or the roles that different people play in the organization, and maybe looking for ways to change that or enhance that or do different things? I mean, you see that coming around at all?
So, yeah, I've talked to several people about this topic, Frank, and actually before this call, Valeria and I were talking about this because it's actually happening within our own organization. Yeah. It's a very sensitive topic. So possibly, I want to say yes, you can. You know what? You can. You just got to be very careful on how you're doing it. You know, with all the laws and a lot of things in place, and it's really state specific, particular to the state. Yeah. You just got to be careful that you don't violate any employment agreements or whatever's in place within that state. You know, especially when you're coming around to pay, if there's contracts in place, you want to make sure there's not a reduction in pay. You also want to make sure that your company is covered and it doesn't trigger any potential liabilities. So it's a very sensitive topic.
Yeah, Danny, and I think because with Frank we had some questions, you know, like beforehand. Going about changing roles, I think it kind of goes back to the continuity or the disaster recovery, you know, and continuity plan, contingency plan, and right. And maybe it is a great time, you know, to find out how people's roles could change. How can we track it in the system? What kind of training tools we have? Like that first week when we went kind of full force, I was remote, but like, let's say full force the entire, I logged it into our training system. I was like, okay, what can I learn? You know, like like selfish. I'm like, okay, maybe my role might change, but I'm going to train in other areas. Like, what can we give employees? So maybe, you know, it would be a better fit to be in a different role because of this scenario. I think I was reading an article. It was from the prior Chicago mayor, Ron Emanuel, but he was saying you should never let a good crisis go to waste.
Right.
And maybe this is the time to, maybe we might not be as productive, right? Like our daily part of Danny and I's job, we're in sales, we're, you know, talking to a lot of prospects, but the reality is some customers are not quite ready right now, maybe to make a purchase or to sell or keep selling. So what can we provide, you know, maybe in this roles of consultants or train ourselves so then we're better equipped, hopefully here in the next month when things got to come back to a little more normal. Just because we're working from home or some people might be remote, you know, yeah, how can we use our time more efficiently or learn or get better? Because we always had those, ooh, I wish I could learn this or I wish I could do that. And maybe this is the time. We really do have the time.
Right. No, I totally agree with that, and I think that's some really good advice. I like the comment by the mayor, the ex-mayor. It's interesting because we always say what you just said. Boy, I wish I had more time to learn. When am I going to, you know, maybe it's a new module or a new system or a new process or a new manufacturing process or time to develop a new product. We don't always have the time because we're embedded in what we do every day, right? So now maybe we have some more time. I like that thought or that advice that, you know, this is a good time for training, and maybe it's not to change roles to get better at the role you have, but it's maybe promoting something inside of the organization so people want to aspire to new roles or new things or higher challenges. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it is true. I mean, Frank, it is a very sensitive topic, and there was a lot of good things said here. And, you know, not to really get in depth on it, but, you know, just a really good example, the restaurant industries.
Yeah.
You know, I have a lot of customers that are in the restaurant industries. Their doors are closed. So what's happening is, and this is a great example here of this topic, so a lot of their servers or, you know, I want to say barbacks or whoever operated internally in the restaurants, even cooks, they've now changed their roles to where some of them are now delivery drivers because they need that coverage because we've gone completely delivery. Just to be safe with this role change, you want to make sure that you're contacting your insurance and making sure that that is something that can be done. You know, you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're taking a cook and you're putting them behind a vehicle and you're not doing your due diligence.
Yeah. So. That's good advice. No, insurance is something to check out. That's key. It can affect workers' comp. It can affect a lot of things that research should be done before making changes. So kind of this has been great. And kind of as we're winding down to the bottom of the half hour, couple things. One, you know, it's a sensitive subject, and Danny, you've kind of talked about a little bit some of the sensitivity is there. But you know, what about having to let people go, you know, without legal repercussions? And now we've got the new, you know, PPP Act and things like that. You know, thoughts about sensitivity around that, and then letting you guys kind of wrap up with anything else you want to add to just kind of give people some last words.
You know, I talk to a lot of business owners, and believe it or not, my partner is a business owner as well. And sometimes in these times when letting people go is what's keeping your business alive. I mean, unfortunately, we have to do what we have to do. It is an extremely sensitive topic. You have to be careful on how you do it, though. You got to make sure, again, it is particular to the state. Some are at will, some are not. You just got to be careful with all those different moving parts. And also, too, you want to keep in mind, you know, firing employees may not make it easy for them to qualify for unemployment benefits. Right. So you got to keep that in mind. So you got to be sensitive about that. Do they have a family? There's just a lot of moving parts on how you're terminating these employees, especially now. So there's so much right now in place, especially with the COVID-19 and all these different acts that are being signed. Everything's in test mode right now. I know it's full force. We're really not going to feel the impact of all of this until after all this is said and done. So just take this into stride. Just be very careful. Do your due diligence. Do not just say, hey, I'm going to terminate, 25 people tomorrow without doing your research first.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense in terms of what's there. So, Valeria, anything from your side?
No, I think what I was thinking was that it all comes down to, as business leaders, to keep in mind that people are watching how we're reacting, how we're acting. And even though it might be hard, or today is like, I put makeup on, and I change, like our attitude really does, like when our boss gets on the phone call and he's telling us, hey, we're okay, or we're doing this, if our attitude is like the sky is falling, oh my God, everybody is dying, people will sense it, and we have to kind of step up, even if it's not comfortable, to just provide the reassurance. And this will pass. We don't know if it'll be in a month, in 6 months, but it will pass. And how we act today will really have repercussions and consequences in the future.
Yeah, no, that is great, and both your positive attitudes are appreciated, and I want to thank you guys for taking time today to share your knowledge and chat with me about this topic. We hope that the information's been helpful for those of you that attended and are watching us possibly on Facebook. We look forward to it, and you'll see on the screen there are some upcoming, a couple more still to come webinars. Oops, I lost the screen, but it is there somewhere. We do have a couple more yet to come. For some reason it's not showing, but you can see them. But anyway, next week we have a couple more. We have one more on Thursday and one next week. So hopefully people can attend. And you guys, I appreciate it. Stay well, stay healthy, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks,
Take care,
everybody.
folks. Thank you.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.